Hello, it's me again. I watched Love, Death and Robot season 3, and I think this is kind of like the worst of the seasons. There's still things in there that I'll recommend, but I thought I'll just go through without spoiling um, the episodes, I guess, in this season. So hopefully you're down with that. Let's get started. The first one is Three Robots Exit Strategies. The return of the three robots we've been seeing in the other seasons, like the Little Happy Robot and the Pyramid Shaped Robot that I think is voiced by Siri or something. And I think this is the last one. I kind of hope it's the last one. I don't think it's that funny anymore, but it looks really nice. The style and the fidelity, the models and the renders, all that. Um, so it was kind of like bland in the middle, not really bad. Maybe I should mention one thing the thing that I kind of hooked on, thinking why is this season not, or why this collection of short movies not appealing to me is I think a lot of them are not well made for the short movie format. But we'll get to that. The next one is Bad Traveling. It's still good. What is one of the better ones. It had some decent twist. It also looked great. Um, so I like that as well. That was good. I'm trying not to spoil too much, keeping it vague. I think overall I recommend that you watch the whole thing. I enjoyed it somewhat, and it gives me something to think and talk about. So that's always nice. The next one is The Very Pulse of the Machine, and that was well made because it had me fooled for the beginning. I thought it was 2D drawing, but I'm pretty sure it's fully 3D, but it took me a while to notice. That was pretty impressive. Um, this is also here where we start to see, or I start to feel the short movie format not being really great. Because most of when I watched The Very Pulse of the Machine just reminded me of how great a movie The Martian is, with Matt Damon. In case you haven't seen that, fully recommended. It's really great. So yeah, for The Very Pulse of the Machine, I think this was it. It's not. It doesn't feel too well for a short movie. Some of the things that um, I'm really like, and what I used to say, did I enjoy the story? Is it needs to have an ending. I'm very depending on endings. It's not that things can't have an open ending or vague ending, but if things just stop, then it kind of ruins the whole experience for me. And we had a little bit of that here at The Very Pulse of the Machine, where I'm left with just saying, okay, now what, or and then what, um, and sometimes also just really wondering, why was this story worth being told? Like, is the story like Gravity? What comes to mind was in the Gravity is a story about overcoming hardship, and so you end up with, that was good. I got a story about overcoming. Not so much here with The Very Pulse of the Machine, but not terrible, not terrible. Night of the Mini Death is it's a cute, fun little. I don't know if it's cute, but it made me laugh a bit because of the Spider Boys. It's a zombie. It's probably the world's fastest zombie movie. It's like 6 minutes, and it's made in this model format, so everything looks like tiny miniature, like a little Lego city, or if you have a train track models in it, or Warhammer, I suppose. So everything's kind of a little bit blurry, and that makes the violence, because there's a lot, makes it funny because um, comedy is a close up, no, drama is a close up, comedy is a long shot. So everything's long shot, so it's all funny. Better voices, they move really fast, but it's just a retreat of a lot. It goes to a lot of standard zombie scenes, but with a new look that can be kind of funny. It was interesting how weird how often love, because that's kind of like the thing of love, death, and robots. So you have one or two or all three of those things in every of the short movie. It's interesting how often love um, is just translated to sex. I don't know if it's because it's animation for quote unquote adults. But with Night of the Many Dead, it's only 6 minutes, including credits and intro, and those are a bit long. 40 seconds of it is spent on depicting sex. It's a bit weird. But then again, it's only 6 minutes long. Can't say too mad at it. Team kill. Apparently that's weird to say. Kill team kill. Yep, God. It uses like classic template, I would say, even within Love, Death, Robots season. You have a quick introduction, or you have a setup, and then you get to the spectacle, and it works. And it works here for Team Kill Team. I like the spectacle. There's something called Marsbot in this one, and I really like Marsbot. Marsbot is cute. That's always nice. So yeah, this is one of the classic ones that I would say is standard for Love, Death, Robot. You get to the action quickly. It's kind of like yeah. Like I was gonna say, like how the text call in Star Wars works. You get the background story out of the way, and then you get to the action, the fun part, the spectacle, or the interesting part. It doesn't need to be a big explosion. But in Team Kill, it is action, and it was good. The next one is Swarm, and this is where I started to notice that I'm not really liking this season, and I started to think more about the short movie format. Are my neighbors gonna make any noise? No, they're not. We're gonna continue here. One thing is, again, the love because is turned into sex or sexy. So there are two humans in this one, and they wear underwear because they're in some place that's warm. I get it. Just a sec. Okay, I think we're back again. So I was talking about Swarm and how the characters wear underwear. They're all sexy. I get you want to show it, and making clothes in 3D CGI animation, whatever you want to call it, it's difficult. So I get it, but it was a bit weird because they're also both doctors. But yeah, it is what it is. The first thing that hit me about Swarm, and this is gonna be not the first thing. It looked really nice. That was the first thing. It was out in space. I was like, yes, I'm down with this. One thing that hit me, and it might hit different for you, is depending on how much you're familiar with StarCraft, the game, and I am much familiar, and so the whole Swarm thing, it felt like a V-threat, and it was like, okay, this has been done better, or I kind of know what's gonna happen because of the Swarm mentality. But that's I get it, that's a me thing, but it dragged the experience down a bit for me. But with Swarm is where I really said, wow, this is not made for short stories. I think they should have rethought how it's going to do it. This one is 16 minutes, so it's one of the longer ones, even with the intro and the credits. And the last 5 is spent with 2 characters talking about what's just about to happen or what's going to happen in the future, and then it ends. That's the ending. But good thing, speaking of good things, Mason's Rats. This is my favorite one. It was really nice. It has a nice beginning, conflict, resolution. It's a good story. I like that. It has a great style, a bit of the cartoonish. I like that. I say if you're going to make animations, make it stylized. I mean, otherwise just get a camera and film some of your friends. So this one was great stylized. It is gory as an episode of The Boys, but I'll take it. This one was my favorite out of the bunch, Mason's Rat, so I highly recommend that. Yeah, and I don't really want to spoil it. I mean, don't want to spoil anything either. It's short. This one was good. In Vaulted Halls, Entombed, I guess I'm saying that right. Is the next one, and it's kind of the same template as a lot of short stories, and it's like Kill Team Kill. So you get a quick introduction, some characters, you get the dynamic, and then the spectacle. The formula works. I get why you do that. I think you should, if you can't think of anything else, use that formula for your short story. I just didn't like the spectacle in this one, and I was hit by it. It's the same thing, kind of like with the swarm, and as I said, the ending is not good. It's not there. There's no resolution, or there's no lesson being learned. It seems like the story is going to continue. It's um, it's it's weird. I don't like it when they do that. And this one also had unintelligent characters, and that's one of the things that I am bothered by in stories. I don't know how much you are, and I'm not saying they need to be professors or chess players and just be able to think 5 steps ahead. But for instance, these people are attacking small animals, like insect size, with rifles in a cave, and apparently they don't run until like one of them is dead, and they don't. That came a bit later. It was revealed they run further into the cave. Like they meet these characters in what appears to be the beginning, the, not the very beginning, but they took a few steps into the cave, saw something, like, okay, let's take a few steps further. They meet these small animals, and then they're like, oh, they get attacked, and then they run further into the cave. That was weird, but it needs to happen because they need to discover something more inside the cave. But I didn't like it, and you can do better. You should do better than saying, oh, they just ran inside. It's a visual medium. You should be able to show that better. It's the thing where the entrance was blocked off. Again, classic, but it's there for a reason, because otherwise you'll have people like me being bored out of your story and going plot hole or whatever. Yeah. So in Vaulted Halls and Tome, not really my favorite. Chibaro, also really not one of my favorite. This one was weird to me. Um, I think they went for they wanted to try for a lot of realism in some parts, like with the camera. That's what I'm talking about. So a lot of handheld. One thing of animation is, of course, the sort of like perfect camera. Everything's very nicely framed because you can adapt to everything, unlike some movies. So I think they try to aim at, or try to imitate the realism feeling, and it can be good. It can be give the audience a sense of being there, but for me it didn't work. Um, there's a lot of shaking and blurred and out of focus pictures, and it's poorly framed, and it seems like you also had some filter where a lot of the colors are washed out. Um, and that took me out of it a bit. But it wasn't nice. And not only did it not um, look good, it didn't sound good. The protagonist is deaf, and so they try to mimic that deaf experience, but it mostly just sounds like you're hearing underwater, or your head's in a box under a pillow. So there's a lot of deep noises, but they also cut off or start suddenly depending on the cut. And to add further, there's also a lot of high-pitched scream. There's a character in here that has a high-pitched screams there, but like, yeah, okay, I get you. The character is annoyed by the screams as well, the main character, I should say. So I guess I understand you want to do he's feeling unpleasant about the scream, so I should feel unpleasant. But the end result is that I feel unpleasant listening to your movie. That's probably not what you want to go for. But I was loved at Robot season 3. I'm glad it exists. This one seems to be the worst, but it's still good. Don't get me wrong. I just had some thoughts, and I thought I'd put them out there. So yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you for watching or listening, and and I'll see you later. Bye.